And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the HackSmarter Twitch channel, or if you're watching this after the fact, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tyler Ramsbey, and I get to be your guide on this journey of learning AWS pen testing and honestly, just kind of being confused together. We are working through the attacking and defending pathway by TryHackMe, and we are in a challenge room called Amazon EC2 Data Exfiltration. Without any further ado, let's just dive back into it. This is take number 2 because I had not generated the environment in the first take. So we're doing this again. We're going to reread through all of it for those of you on YouTube. So here we are. The one thing to check, especially for those who might be following along because you have access to this, if you click cloud details, you just want to make sure your access adds up or it matches. My access was for the previous room, so I had to regenerate the environment, and it took almost a full 5 minutes of that countdown. So that's why I had to jump to a countdown. But what's our mission? Our mission is to extract the contents of a secret file on an EC2 instance that does not have internet access via our sources on the dark web. You're aware of a software vulnerability on your target's primary commercial endpoint. You will need to exploit this SSRF vulnerability to gain access to AWS creds. From there, you need to perform recon by downloading the user data from all the EC2 instances. Once you have that, you'll execute a reverse shell on an instance that can reach out to the internet. Using that reverse shell, you can SSH into the target machine using the creds obtained via the user data recon. Instance A, which is right there. All right, instance A is only accessible from the internet via the load balancer right there. So we're going to attack the load balancer with SSRF. We're going to attack that instance A, and we're going to get some creds, I think. But it can establish outbound connections via the NAT gateway. Right there. So we should be able to access it with an attack machine. Instance B is right there, is only accessible from machines in the VPC. Okay. Got it. If you haven't done so, click the orange cloud details button. Yep, we did it. Access the environment. Same thing. We did it. Phase 1, initial access. To get started, you'll need to configure access credentials on your attack box, which I already did on Parrot right here. Make sure to set the default region to US East 1. I did that. I'm glad I did that before looking at the instructions. Every TryHackMe student environment is different, so we need to find the vulnerable endpoint that was deployed into your account. This command will list all the load balancers in your account and display only the DNS name. So what are we doing here? We have AWS ELB v2, so Elastic Load Balancer version 2. Describe load balancers. That's AWS's way of like, hey, list the resources. Why describe? Why not list? I don't freaking know because it's AWS. And then we're passing it a query. We want a query for load balancers, specifically their DNS name, and we want to output it as text. All right. Okay. Next, visit the URL returned in the browser on your attack box, replacing that with the value returned above. So we'll copy that. I don't remember if HTTPS or what it was. Hello, nurse. And then we have ssrf.php. Okay, server-side request forgery. And it very simple setup. Once again, guys, there is a CloudGoat scenario that's free that does this exact scenario where you, I believe it's the... Is it the EC2 SSRF? I think that's what it's called. Matter of fact, I made a TryHackMe room that guides you through the CloudGoat scenario and explains each step of this vulnerability. Stay tuned for that for when we publicly release it, hopefully in the near future. So next, visit the URL return, which we did. Before you can get credentials, you need to know the role name assigned to the vulnerable instance. Enter the following URL into the IP bar on that page. And let's do it slowly. Just because that's how I like to do it. So if we submit query, so that's how it's returning the information there. Hold up, do we have Cato? Did I put Cato on here? Let me show you. Yeah, Cato. Let me show Cato to you guys. Cato's so cool. It's Burp Suite alternative. It's not as feature rich as Burp Suite Pro. And okay, sweet, I do have it. It's not as feature-rich as Burp Suite Pro, but it's much better than Community Edition because you can do things like Intruder without any type of rate limiting. I do have the Pro version because look at the Pro version, guys. It's $10 a month, and I just wanted to support them. Let me select a project first to access this page. Select. Okay. If I go to assistants, like they have ChatGPT built right into Cato, so then you can ask questions as you're going through stuff all within Cato right here. And so, hey, if you guys want to get this, if you go to purchase Cato online, if you get the Pro Edition, you can get $10 off by using the Hack Smarter code. I'm not even joking, yo. They asked me if I wanted to be an affiliate, and I was like, heck yeah, I want to be an affiliate. So if you sign up for Cato, the Pro version, which is what I have, and use the Hack Smarter code, you will get $10 off, and I'll get $10 as a result, being fully transparent about that. But it is cool. I've been using it on stream instead of Burp Suite Pro because I know many of you don't use Burp Suite Pro, and I don't like Community Edition because of the rate limiting. So although this is going to be an overkill for this scenario, let's just do this through Cato for our own learning. I don't even know if I have my browser configured right for Cato though, so I don't know if I've used it on this browser or not yet. So if we turn that on, oh no, I don't even have it set up. Let's go ahead and set this up. Same port 8080 as Burp Suite, and we will save. And now we need to get Cato's thing. Cert. We need to download the cert. Let me actually do a new project, and we'll call it TryHackMe. Can I select it? Oh, I'm already in the project. How do I download the cert? Usually when you create a project, it like prompts you for it. I might have to. Wonder if I just go to it. Shoot, I wanted to show this to you guys. Here we go. Yeah. Maybe I just need to log in real quick. All right, I'm already logged into the parent instance. Let's try that again. So now I have it open in the browser. How the frick do I get the cert though? Come on. Hey, CA certificate. That's what I'm looking for. All right. Firefox, download CA certificate. This is all that I'm trying to do. Oh, do I already have it on here? We'll just throw this on the desktop. I don't know if that one's for Burp or something else. Okay. I know very much an overkill for this scenario. Nobody says, does Cato have a built-in browser? Not yet. It can run in your browser, but doesn't have its own built-in browser. So you have to do like Firefox or whatever. The cool thing about Cato though is their Discord page are super open to feedback. Like even when I first started Cato, the co-founder / developer joined on stream, like was watching the stream and was actively making GitHub requests based on my feedback live, which is what sold me on it. Oh, it's already installed. Oh, I did do that. Huh, I didn't even realize it. Okay, cool. So now if we turn Cato on and we'll turn on queuing and we'll go ahead and submit this query. It's not picking it up, is it? I did all this. Okay. I'm not going to give up now, but what we're going to do is it's not listening now. I promise you guys, that's not usually this confusing. I just set this up in a very weird way, which is not how I normally do it. So if we click TryHackMe, select, and I'm just going to do it in my browser because I think that'll work better. And we have this set up now. Now if we go back over to here, let's try this now. We'll use the browser, and if we collapse this down, we'll go to intercept here. We'll turn on queuing. We will submit query. Oh my goodness, it's still not working. Maybe I won't be doing it through Cato, and maybe it's something weird with this website, but I don't know why it would be. Oh yeah, it's just something weird with the website. Hold up. It's just because we already did that request, so it wasn't trying to reload the request. Now we should be good. Let's give this a shot now. All right, we got queuing turned on. We'll submit query. Here's our query. We'll go ahead and send this to replay. We'll go over to replay, and now we can replay this. So if we hit send, we can see all the information here, and now we can simply throw latest onto here. Send. And you can see, hey, we got dynamic metadata and user data. I don't remember which specific one we're enumerating. We're getting the security credentials, it looks like. Okay. So then for that, we are going to go ahead and do metadata. If we hit send on that, we should get a bunch of folders, and we can do IAM, of course, because we want credentials. So IAM. Oh, don't want a space there, though. And then we have, of course, security credentials. So then we're going to know the role. So we know the role is a ** WAF role. So actually, I want to copy that, and we'll throw it in my sweet notepad here. So I'm guessing we might need that information later on. And then we want to do ** WAF role. Oops, capital R. Send. And then we have our access key and our secret access token and all of that good information. So we'll copy all this, copy, and we'll throw it in our notepad. And now we will set up another profile with that account information. At least I'm guessing that's what we're going to do. Let me not get too far ahead though. Not Cato. So suppose this would have worked as well. Yeah, it's working just fine. So we'll turn forwarding on for that, and I'm going to go back to using that then instead of this one. I'm guessing there's not much more we need to do, but here's Cato. It would have worked this way too in the browser, or in the desktop app version of it. Okay, now get credentials for the role you discovered, which we did. Congrats, you've now gotten credentials to your initial target. Add the credentials to your AWS credential file by configuring a new user profile like so. How do they do it? I always just manually add it. Oh, no way. Can you actually set it? Oh, I just learned something new, guys. So this isn't a big deal to you guys, but each time I had a session token, I had to manually open my credentials folder with like Nano and then manually set it because I couldn't figure out how to do it with AWS Configure. So it looks like with AWS Configure, once you set up the profile, you can then set the AWS session token and that passes it to your credentials folder. Mind blown. I didn't know that. I've been doing it the hard way this entire time. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll do AWS Configure. And we have a name profile, so we'll just copy their syntax, EC2 capstone, and it will ask us for the access key ID, which I'm going to grab from a notepad, our secret access key. Default region, US East 1. There we go. And now we want to do AWS configure, and then what configure do we want to profile, or what profile do we want to configure? Well, we want to configure the EC2 capstone profile, and we want to set AWS session token. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize, guys, this was possible. Seriously, my mind is blown right now by this. Copy this. Okay, AWS STS get caller identity. Remember, this is like the who am I in AWS. But because it's AWS, instead of being one, phrase like who am I, it's AWS STS get color identity. Like why? Why make it so difficult, AWS? There we go. Well, it worked. We assumed the role of star WAF role. Beautiful. So far, so good. We use SSRF to steal some credentials, and now we have those credentials, and we can begin to enumerate the target's AWS environment. What is the name of the role attached to this vulnerable thing? Well, it's star WAF role. Submit. Phase 2, discovery. Now that you have account credentials, you're ready to move on to phase 2, discovery. Let's first discover all the EC2 instances available in your account. This describe instances command will list all the instances and then return a list of the name, instance ID, status, running stopped, etc., and the public and private IP addresses with a little bit of SED wizardry to make it display nicely. So let's see if we understand this. AWS EC2 describe instances, then we're passing it a query. We want the reservations, the instances, tags, the key, which would be the name, so that's the tags that we're getting. Value, instance ID, state, name, profile, EC2 capstone, output text, and then the wizardry. Sound good. Oh, but we need to pass it. Yo, why is my first instance running? You guys saw me delete that in the previous stream. Oh well, we'll delete it in a little bit. Oh, did that not work? Oh, you know what I need to do? I can't do the profile there. Let's do the profile. Oh, it already specified the profile. Never mind, that's all correct. I didn't realize it was giving the profile. It's actually specifying it right here, passing the profile. So what do we have here? Well, we have it's the syntax is a little bit screwed up, I think, because of my terminal window, but we'll be able to work with it. Feel free to experiment with this command. You can remove the sed, the query parameter, and change the output to JSON to see the full details of all the instances. We can see 2 instances in this account, one named application instance right there, and one named secret data instance right there. And of course, my first instance, which for some reason didn't terminate, even though I clicked terminate. We know from our mission, brief, and task 1 that secret data instance right there has no access to or from the internet. Let's see what else we can discover about these instances that may be useful later. We will extract the user data from all the instances. Okay, so how are they doing this? Well, we're setting a variable called list, and with list, we are quite literally just querying all the instances. So that makes sense, and we're saving that to a variable. Got it. Go. Why is this up? Can you go away? Scrub. All right, so it worked. If we echo list, we can see our instances there, including, my first instance. Now, in a for loop, pull down the user data for each one of the instances in the above list. So for I in list, what that is doing is just saying, hey, we want you to iterate through this. So we already showed the list. This could be anything. You could do W if you want, but it just says for everything in that list, for every value in this list. So for this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, here's what I want you to do. Well, what I want you to do is run this command in each one of those instances. AWS EC2 describe instance attribute with this profile, the name profile we set up. And hey, what instance IDs do we want to pass? Well, we want I, and that's where that's coming in. So we want you to pass in each one of these, one after the other. So run this full command on one, run the full command on another one. And what attribute do we want? Well, we want user data, and we want you to output it as text. And then we want to query the user data with the region US East 1. And remember, it's going to be base 64 encoded. So go ahead and base 64 decode it. And then finally, we want you to create these files, and we want you to append the file name with I, which remember, it's going to be appended with an instance dash userdata.txt. Then we can easily cat through these and see what is in the user data. So let's go ahead and do that. Give that a shot. I first want to make a directory, and do I already have one? Oh, that's like the AWS thing. Make directory, and we'll call it EC2 capstone. There we go. And now we will go ahead and just give this a shot. No weird errors, so that's good. Okay, so now if we try to like cat this one, beautiful, it works. So we can see that one and some of the not metadata, user data there. Remember, the user data is a script that can be used by a cloud admin to configure the VM. So we might be able to find hard-coded creds and things like that in there. The simple shell command will get a list of all the instances, and in a for loop, it will download the user data file for each instance and base64 to code the contents, which we did that, guys. And here's one thing I just want to point out to you. When you are looking at a script such as this one, so even if you're going through another TryHackMe room, it's very tempting just to copy and spray, right? Just copy this script and spray it in. Make sure you always slow down and do what I just did. Like read it, even reading it out loud can be helpful because it teaches you not to be a script kiddie, right? It teaches you to understand what is this script actually doing? What is the logic behind it? Can I understand it? Even to be a pen tester, you need to be able to script things out. And even with programming, like as a pen tester, you don't need to necessarily be a programmer, but you do need to know how to read code and understand the logic flow of code before you. It's helpful for debugging, also helpful for making custom tools. So just don't skip that small piece that I just did. I didn't just do that because I'm on stream. I did that because it's a habit of mine when I'm reading somebody else's code. Understand the code and break it down so you know what you're reading. All right. What is the cloud config line to enable password-based SSH authentication? Well, I don't think it would be this one. That one has nothing in it. What if we do? There we go. So another sweet grep tool right there. You guys saw that instead of me catting through each one of these, we could use grep. -R means recursive, which means search all the files in this directory. And what are we searching for? We want to search for SSH because it said, hey, what's the cloud config line? So I just sped up that process. And here is the line right here. SSH PWAUF, true. This line enables SSH authentication. So I'm quite certain this is probably the answer right here. Nope. It is somehow the answer. I just am not putting it in the format they want. What is the cloud config line to enable password-based authentication? This line enables SSH password authentication. What are they looking for? Oh, it's just like this. This is what it's looking for right there. There we go. Lucifer Morningstar says, so do you actually read through the man pages for each and every option available? No, I do not. I definitely don't read through the man pages. Do you mean, I'm not quite sure which one you're referring to. As far as the AWS commands, I've given up hope on fully understanding those. I just asked ChatGPT. But when you're reading, like, for example, this is a very simple bash script. For the for I and list, do this, right? So I mean like the bash script itself, make sure you read it. And same with Python. And what can be really helpful with ChatGPT, so if we take this command right here, and let's go over to Cato, and we'll go to our assistant, and we'll say, hey, and ChatGPT can be your assistant. So what does ChatGPT say? Well, he says, this is a bash script that iterates through a list of instances specified by the variable list. For each instance, it retrieves a user data attribute using the AWS CLI command that with a specified profile, instance ID, and region. The output of this command is in text format and is parsed to return only the user data. Additionally, the output is base64 decoded using the base64 command and redirected to a file named after the instance ID followed by user data. In summary, this script retrieves a user data attribute from all instances specified in the list variable and saves it to a separate text file for each instance. So ChatGPT can help us not be script kiddies by explaining to us what this script is doing. Once again, very basic script, but you can see how helpful this can be in a more complex script for ChatGPT to kind of be your assistant as you work your way through something like this. Hopefully that's helpful. Phase 3 for initial access. Drink of water first. You have a list of the user data for all of the EC2 instances. The next step is to get access to the network. We'll do this by manipulating the application's instance's user data to generate a reverse shell to our attack box. So essentially setting up some persistence here. In order to receive the shell, you need to create a netcat listener from a new window on your attack box. So I'm assuming I need to be on the TryHackMe VPN. I think I have a VPN file on here. Okay, cool. And here is our IP. I'm just going to copy this and throw it in my notepad on my other screen. I need to figure out how to configure Parrot so it shows the IP, the VPN IP up there like Kali does. Okay, we have a list of all the user data, blah, blah. In order to receive the shell, you need to create a netcat listener from a new window on your attacks box. Who uses 444, bro? We are 1337. Psh. You guys ever seen that psh YouTube video? It's amazing. And here is our terminal. All right. Instances have to be stopped before you can modify the instance's user data. So let's do that now. The value of replace with real application instance ID was discovered in task 3. Did I save it? I'm going to say no, I didn't. What? Oh. What? The value of replace with application instance ID was discovered in task 3. Oh. Phase 1 at task 3. No, it wasn't. Am I blind, guys? Oh, it's this thing. Right? Is it? That's the load balancer. That's not an instance ID, though, I don't think. I think that's an error in the instructions, or am I crazy? I think they mean task 4 is actually where you would have discovered that, because that's when we're querying the different instances. And I think it's this instance right here that it's referring to. The one with the SSH configuration, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Maybe I misunderstood their hint there. Instead to restop, so let's do that now. The value was discovered in task 3. No, it wasn't. Fake news, bro. I think it was discovered in task 4. Get your tasks right. I hopefully have the right one. Instead of stop, so instance ID replace with application instance ID. I don't know. I don't know if this is the right one. Those instructions are confusing, in my humble opinion, or I'm just reading them wrong, which is also very valid. That's probably the issue, but it's confusing to me. So then what are we doing? AWS EC2 stop instances with our profile, and then we say, hey, we want you to stop this instance. Hopefully I'm stopping the right instance. And I freaking there. Okay, so far so good. Create a new file with the reverse shell command. This command will run when the instance starts up again. It will, oh shoot, I need the attack box, y'all. That's dumb. Because the attack box has a public IP, right? My VPN or my virtual machine here only has a private IP. It does not have a public IP. I could spin up my EC2 in the cloud, which has a public IP, but I'm not going to do that. We will just have to boot up the attack box. I need to grab... Did I close that completely? No. Here we go. So this is all old. Man, this is annoying. I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if I'm just doing it offline, but now that I'm streaming it, we have to wait for the attack box to open. How long do you guys think that's going to take? Gosh, I have to reconfigure the profile too for the attack box. Whatever. It is what it is. I don't think it'll take too long because I copied it over my notes for the ** WAF role. So I just need to configure the initial credentials. Then I need to configure the ** WAF role. And then we should be able to be ready for that shell. But as you can see, it's only at 25%, so it might take a few minutes here. We'll just have to hang tight, hang out, and give it some time. We can read ahead too. I wish I would have read ahead a little bit on this, knowing that I would need a public IP. And I was curious how they were going to do that. That's why I was like, well, maybe I need to be on the VPN because it's somehow set up to their VPN. But nope, we have to actually use the public IP of that. So what are we going to do? We are going to get a reverse shell here. We need to apply the reverse shell command as the new user data. So we're going to base 64 our reverse shell and then encode it. And then we're going to modify the attribute for that instance ID and give it that value. If you see this error when calling the instance, well, it's not in the stop state. Wait a little longer and try again. Successful change will return no output. Now start the EC2. When the machine boots again, it will execute the commands from reverse shell.txt. Now we wait. The machine will need to boot up, and then it will install netcat and run the reverse shell command. If successful, the window with the netcat listener will look like this. I sure hope so. Hacker voice, you're in. If you want a slightly more familiar shell, you can enter this to stabilize the shell a little bit. What are we going to do for lateral movement? We're inside the network. From there, we can SSH to the target machine secret data instance. From the discovery step in task 3, you know the internal IP address of secret data instance. Your target company also left the password in the user data for the EC2 instance that we captured in a text file previously. Okay, our attack box is at least open. And I need to configure the credentials, and I don't care if you guys see them, so I'm not going to stop sharing my screen. It's not that big of a deal. It's not my AWS account. So the way that we are going to configure it, we need that information there. So if we do AWS configure, is AWS not installed? Okay, I was going to say, why is it taking so long? And we'll grab the access key ID right there. Oh, freaking stupid. All right, hold up. We got to go view full screen so that we can copy and paste. And we have to take this, throw it to the side of our screen, and go like that. Okay, there. That's why I don't like using the attack box. I like to use my own machine. But and our secret access key. Now AWS STS get caller identity. Okay, so far so good. And then what do we call that? EC2 capstone, I think, right? So AWS configure profile EC2 capstone. And now we're going to ask for the access key ID for that, which I have on my other screen. So I'm going to copy that. We'll paste that in. We'll grab our secret key. We'll paste that in. Our default region, US East 1. Okay, and now if we do that one command, freaking stupid. All right, I have to redo the SSRF, I guess. and take forever because it's the attack box. And if I go to my notes here, did I copy down that URL? Yeah, I did, at least. Okay, so there's our URL. And if I go back to my VM, and specifically if we go back to Cato, where was our post request? Oh. Whatever. Didn't it tell us what to freaking do? Can't you still exploit from your box but not host the listener on C2? Could save you from redoing everything. Yeah, you're right, except for even on my box, that the session key that I say before it will actually be expired. So technically we have to re-exploit everything. There's a good question though. So for example, if I do AWS STS get caller identity profile, and then what's the profile? I forgot what we called it. EC2 capstone. Oh shoot, no, it does work on there. It's I said expired though, so shouldn't it be expired in both places? Why? That doesn't make sense in my brain. So it said the session code expired, which the session is kind of like a JWT. So when it expires, you need to generate a new one. But I guess it still does work here. So good point. If we go to the attack box here, I don't even know my public IP. What's my IP, bro? I don't think it shows up in IPA. That's cool. It's totally what I typed. There it is. So there's our public IP for our attack box. I'm gonna jot that down in my notes. Okay. This is such a strange way of doing this. Now, if we go back to my Parrot OS and we go to initial access, we needed to create this file. What do they just called it? Shell, right? Rochelle.txt. And for the IP, grab that. There we go. Make sure to replace the attack box. You can find that by curl ident.me or by using the I icon on the bottom's bar or by Googling what's my IP like a freaking noob like I did. Now we need to apply the reverse shell command to the new user. First we need a base 64 encoded. I'm just going to copy these commands. And it should be base 64 encoded now. Yep, it is. And then we are passing it the instance ID, and it says, hey, we want to modify the instance attribute using this profile. Here's the instance ID. We want to modify the user data, and here's the value we want to send to it. So I'm going to copy that, and we'll just make sure we get the syntax right first. So profile instance ID, our instance ID I think is there, or I did the wrong instance, which is very possible as well, because I was kind of confused on that part, and then we'll see if that works. No, nobody Nate, dude, I think it does work. I don't know why it works, but I think it does. The only reason that won't work is if I shut down the wrong instance, which is very likely. But it worked. I mean, it replaced that. Now start the instance. When the machine boots again, we'll execute the commands. Let's make sure our listener is on. Wait. Oh, shoot. Oh, 4444. So I put it 1337 in my attack box, but it's really, I ended up using 4444. So let's grab this machine. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so now I think everything is good to go. So now if we do this command, I really hope this works. If it does, then I'm quitting. I'm quitting the rest of this path. You guys are gonna have to buy access yourselves. You're on your own. I'm going back to regular hacking. None of this freaking wacky, crazy, wizardy AWS super verbose commands that do one simple thing. Yep. If this doesn't work, guys, I'm out F4ing OBS. So if I disappear, it's because I rage quit. Oh gosh, I'm scared to even hit enter, guys, because I'm sure I did something wrong. It's pending. So that means it's launching it. I just don't know if I did it to the right instance. I don't know. I don't know. I probably did it wrong. Just want to see if it's running now. Is it running? Shoot, it's running. Frick. No. If not that instance, guys, what instance was I supposed to do it with? You know what I mean? Gosh dang it. It didn't freaking work. I'm this close to rage quitting because this is taking longer than I wanted, and I've been on stream for 2 hours. How would I know what instance to use? What did I miss? Or do the instructions suck? Or is it a combination of both? Because the only hint we have, it says this simple shell command will get a list of all the instances, and in a for loop, it will download the user data file for each instance and base64 encode the contents into a text file. Go ahead and look at the contents of the 2 text output files. First of all, I get way more than 2 output files. Did I do it to the wrong instance? I'm just going to restart all of them at this point. That doesn't have anything in it. Is it that one? That's the only hint we get. But shoot, maybe that's not the freaking right one. Maybe that's the internal one because there's a SSH into it. So I was supposed to restart the other one, but it didn't clean up the resources from the previous room because there's only supposed to be 2. There's only supposed to be 2 of them. I'm guessing the only 2 are supposed to be these, but because TryHackMe I don't think has the cloud configured, like deploy the resources properly, I shut down the wrong stupid freaking EC2. Stupid. All right. Yeah. How is this supposed to see the public IP? What do they say to do? Sangorum Busa, which box is this? This is attacking and defending AWS, but it's a business-to-business exclusive, so you can't actually do it yourself unless you have access. We're redoing our steps. Although if it gets too late, I am quitting and I'm not coming back. I'm going back to regular hacking. This is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, that's the IP I used. Okay. Well, let's do nano reverse shell dot text. I guess all of this should still be the same. All of this is still good. We just have to do it to the right instance this time. So let's take this stuff right here. And our instance ID. So this is the instance ID I think that we need. The other instance ID is the one that we need to SSH into, but I broke that one. I think I broke that one by replacing the startup script, because now it's not going to enable SSH by default. So I'm going to have to try to go back and fix that one, I guess. If you guys know what I mean. Oh, I need to stop it first. Okay, I won't rage quit yet. Gosh, guys, I really kind of hate AWS. It's just so foreign to me. Even though I've spent so much time trying to learn it, I'm still so confused by it every time I try to do something with it. Okay. Fat Sack said, "You're live, just came from your YouTube." Welcome, dude. You can watch me freaking rage quit live. We're doing this till it's in the stop state. Hey, it worked. Okay, back to the TryHackMe machine. Now, if we go to our notepad, oh, I already had that. Okay. Let's start this instance. Here goes nothing. Pending. Fingers crossed. And then we still need to fix the brokenness, the metadata brokenness. Fat Sack said, "Did you pass your OSCP or OSWP?" I came from the day in the life of pen tester. I did, my friend. I passed the OSCP back in December in my first attempt in 8 hours. Passed the exam and then wrote the report. Choking on my water, y'all. Went down the wrong tube, as they say. Okay. I don't want to check the hack box. Oh. Guys, it freaking worked. You see that? Oh, man, that's beautiful. I successfully troubleshooted it. I'm going to count that as a win. All right. But you know what we need to do now, though? We need to fix the other one. Like, before we can celebrate, we need to fix the other one. So if we go to Parrot here, and the way I'm going to attempt to fix it, first, which one did I break? This one, the one that ends in 50. This one right here. So if I cat that, we replace that with the shell. But the shell doesn't work because it only has internal access, right? Technically, we could shell. We could like double shell. But we're not going to do that. I want to re-enable SSH authentication, which I think the way that we can do that is kind of the same way we got the shell. So if I do like base 64, that, and we change it to that but encoded. All right. Now, what if I do this command? Oh, let's stop it. Might need to stop it first. So we get more freaking troubleshooting skills here. Okay. We're just going to put a line there so I don't confuse myself with what I'm doing. We need to actually stop this instance before we can modify it. Like that. Okay. We were able to stop the instance. And now what we need to do is take this command right here, go to our notepad, but instead of, well, our instance ID, we need to pass it this one. Our user data, our file is actually going to be this file right here. And then I think technically, at least in the logic of my brain, this fixes what I broke on that one. And then with our initial access, we'll be able to SSH with the password TryHackMe, which we found in the user data. In the meantime, because I know it takes a little bit, I'll answer that question in Twitch. Let me just try this once. Okay, it's not in a stop state yet. FatSack44 said, did you learn everything from Hack the Box and THM, or did you have prior knowledge? I mean, I don't know. Long story short, I've always been interested in ethical hacking, even as a teenager, but I've really only been in IT for like 3 years now. I actually spent 10 years in pastoral ministry. So I have a master's of divinity, which is like theology, psychology, history, things like that. Shout out to Lucifer Morningstar, the demon in the chat. But yeah, so I was a pastor for 10 years. And then during the COVID-19 pandemic, the church that I was leading just kind of shrunk to the point that I needed to pay bills. I got 2 young kids and a wife, and I'm the primary income provider. So I decided, look, I'm going to pivot full-time to IT. So 3 years ago, I got my first full-time IT job as IT support level 1, was in that role for just a little bit of time. Then I became an IT support manager, was in that role for a little bit of time. Then I became a senior analyst at a bank, so kind of on the blue team side of it. And then I've been a pen tester now for about 9 months. And as far as learning, I do have a bachelor's in cybersecurity through WGU, but that doesn't teach you pen testing much. It's very light on pen testing. So like what I'm doing now, I've learned all of this through, TryHackMe, Hack the Box Academy, and just streaming, right? So even if you go to my YouTube channel and you go to my first videos, this is what I did. I just made streams of me working through machines for the first time, stumbling through it and learning. So you can watch me learn. That's how I learned. I streamed myself getting mad at my computer and threatening to quit like I just did a little bit ago. I don't quit though. Beautiful. I think I fixed that machine. So now we need to start that machine back up. So if we go here and we'll change this to start instance, copy. Okay, I think I fixed that. I think I fixed that issue. Now, let's go back to our TryHackMe machine here. We have root, we have shell. What is the name of the shell script in the EC2 user's home directory? Is that the shell script? Create instance.sh? Lateral movement. With the reverse shell on the application instance, you're now inside the target's network. From there, you can SSH to the target machine secret data instance. From the discovery step in task 3, you know the internal IP address for the secret data instance. No, I don't remember what it was, though. Your target company also left the password in the user data. So the password we know is TryHackMe. I saw that. And we need to grab the IP. So back to our virtual machine. And we need the IP of the secret data instance. So that was during the discovery phase. When we described instances, I think it was this one right here, right? No, that was just the instances. This one. This is the one I'm looking for. Our secret data instance right here, I believe this would be the IP. Although the syntax might be messed up. Oh yeah, yep, nope, this is the IP. So that's our IP, that's our target IP. Okay. So let's copy that to our notepad. As like my sweet way of taking notes. Pretty elite, yo. This is how the real hackers do it. We'll copy that. We'll go to TryHackMe here. Still my shell, right? And now if we SSH as EC2 user at that IP, the password was just TryHackMe, I believe. Or it's not going to do anything. Maybe I need to stabilize my shell. Oh, frick. So I did fully break that machine. But what if we get another shell? All right, guys, so what if instead of SSHing into it, we redo the previous command, but we get a shell instead? You know what I mean? So here's what I'm thinking. If we do nano on our reverse shell dot text, but it can't reach out to the internet. So it probably doesn't have netcat installed. I might have to literally redo. I'm not redoing all of this. This way doesn't work. I actually am done. Because that would require reconfiguring the entire cloud environment, which would take, 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes, and then redoing every step up to this point, which is not going to happen. But we know. Oh, wait, no, I am this IP. Hold up. Oh, I have the wrong IP. I'm trying to connect to 10.10.3.185, but I am 10.10.3.185. The freak is going on here? Guys, I'm so confused. Secret data instance would appear to be that IP. Maybe it's not? Rockstar Ricky said, this looks mad complicated. Dude, it is mad complicated. Everything with AWS is mad complicated. Hold up. So our IP for the secret data instance, this isn't our IP. We have two other IPs to try. We have this one, and we have this one. I don't know what's going on here. All right, screw it. We're just gonna spray and pray. One of these will work. No, they probably won't work. I probably did legit break it, but who cares? We're gonna try it. Okay, I'm gonna say that one probably doesn't work. come on, give me my shell back. Don't take away my shell. Please don't. If you don't take away my shell, I'll be happy. Gosh, my shell died. I'm about to start up freaking Chisel so I can use my VM through the attack box at this point. All right. Back to somewhat of the drawing board. If I go to my notes here, we'll have to give it a second to stop. Gosh, this is so confusing, guys. My output definitely doesn't look like that. Yeah, join us on Discord, Rockstar Ricky. I'll post the link while we wait. Let me copy the URL. Nobody Nate said this is the first AWS stream I watched that has throwback vibes. It does, dude. And like the problem with this is even if you look at this, like almost no users have gone through this, right? Like I'm one of the very first users to go through this because it's so limited and it's super expensive to go through on your own, even with the business license, because you need a business license, then you have to pay on top of that. So it's just not accessible. So it hasn't been, fully vetted by users. So it can be a little more buggy than normal. So Rockstar Ricky, even with the premium version of TryHackMe, you won't be able to access this because it's business exclusive, right? But TryHackMe subscription is worth it. It's affordable. The business account is a lot more expensive, and then on top of that, you have to pay for AWS. They gave me, I have access for a month to stream it, basically to be their guinea pig. Okay, our shell is back. I don't even know what to do from here. Like I don't. Let's do this. AWS EC2 describe instances profile EC2 capstone. Let's look at the full description of these and see if we can find the right instance here, and then we'll have a better idea of what instance we're actually targeting instead of the weird sed stuff. Where's the names? Do you guys see the names? Stack secret. Client. Secret data, right? Is this? Is it this one? Is this the IP? Which one did we try last time where I killed it? Was it this IP or something else? You guys know? So here's the IP that we're on. Looking over the chat, Rockstar Ricky said, "Would it give me a good foundation?" Yeah, dude, TryHackMe will give you a really solid foundation. Hack the Box will just frustrate you until you get a little more experience. Your days will look like what mine are looking like right now. For TryHackMe, start with just like the basic learning path. I think Intro to Cybersecurity be a really good place to start, where it really takes the time to explain what's going on, and you won't have the experience I'm having right now. Okay, so this is an IP I didn't try, I think. This 10.10.6.156. So if we go back to here, can I ping it? Let's just try to ping it first. Okay, well, that's a good sign. Oh, no. I don't have a stable shell. How do I stop the ping without a stable shell? I can't Control C. Control Z will background it. That won't work either. I'm stupid. Yeah, no, Control X doesn't work. Freak, I didn't even think about this. I should have specified 4 pings. I'm thinking of Windows where it has a default of 4 pings. Shoot. Oh my goodness. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I should have just gone for it. I shouldn't have tested it. I shouldn't try to ping it. What am I doing? I'm glad you guys are here to experience my pain with me. It's getting late, y'all. It's almost 11:30 at night. I've been on stream for 2 hours and 20 minutes now. I can verify the password real quick. I believe it was TryHackMe or something. Yeah, so it's just TryHackMe for the password for EC2 user. We can see that there. So we'll try to SSH into it and see what happens. Nobody Nate said, "Oh crap, I'm working a VM and the time zone is 2 hours behind." Didn't notice till now. That's rough. Rockstar Ricky said, "Should I be taking notes of the key terms in the beginner intro rooms?" You probably don't need to take notes of key terms, because as you immerse yourself in TryHackMe and working through machines, you'll just begin to pick up on those terms. But you might want to take notes of key syntaxes. You know, like how to SSH into a machine, how to get a reverse shell when you get to that point. I would take notes of that. Did it really not work? Oh my goodness. I didn't do anything different. I don't know why it's not working now. I'm going to lose my mind with this. This is the one with the shell on it. I stopped it and I started it. And it should run the stuff and the user data crap. But of course it doesn't. I am at my breaking point with this pathway. I may legit stop streaming it. Is I really like my time is more valuable to me than this. Because essentially, if I don't get this working and it doesn't like go up on YouTube for the series, I have wasted an hour and 20 minutes roughly of my life. No, people have finished this one and I had it working. I don't know why it's not working now. But here, this is an old room. I had it working and then I tried to ping my room and that killed my shell just before I SSH into it, and now the shell doesn't even spawn. But it could be possible I somehow broke the cloud environment. And if I did, it takes another 5 minutes to respawn the cloud environment. And then we have to redo this whole process because like the instance names change, the credentials would change. So I'd have to respawn the cloud environment, then re-go through the entire process till I get to the point where I'm at. We'll see what happens. Nobody said wasted is a little harsh. Normies are out at bars getting drunk. This is way better use of time, even if it doesn't get in the series. It's a good point. My frustration is since I only have access for 1 month, like I'm really up against like this time where like almost every night I have to be doing this if I want to stream the entire pathway, which is my initial goal. But it's just like it's not fun anymore. I usually do stuff till it's fun, and when it's no longer fun, then I don't see the point. Not a good like life lesson, but when it comes to like live streaming and doing this stuff in my free time, like I don't want to just be frustrated the whole time. Hence why I stopped with the freaking the throwback room by TryHackMe. Terrible in my opinion. I quit that room. It's something that I would like I'll do offline, right? So like even if I don't stream this pathway, I will go through this entire pathway offline, because when I'm offline, it's a lot easier to go through these steps, restart the cloud environment if I have to. It's just when I'm trying to stream it and record videos for it, that's more of a waste of my time. If that makes sense. And I guess for anyone who doesn't have a YouTube channel and stream, it probably doesn't make sense what I'm trying to convey. Okay. So why did that not work the first time when I restarted? You guys saw me. I did the same exact commands. Now it worked. Hate inconsistency. All right. This is my last attempt. My last attempt right here. Oh, let's stabilize my shell first. If this doesn't work, guys, I'm calling it a night because it's getting way too late for me to be doing this. Nobody said try harder. I was trying to be ironic with the try harder. Yeah. Make a diss song pretty soon like I did to Offsec. Just kidding. I do appreciate TryHackMe. And a lot of this is I guarantee you a lot of this is me. It's not TryHackMe. It's me misreading something, or the fact that I'm on stream. When I'm on stream, I miss obvious things just because I'm on stream. But okay, SSH as this user. Here's my final IP I'm trying. I really hope we're prompted for a password. If we're not prompted for a password, it's because I broke it when I attacked the wrong instance in the beginning. Oh my goodness. Guys, I think it's working. Let's make sure we have the right password before I break something else, okay? We're going to take this slow. It's just TryHackMe. Okay. It worked. I'm going to cry tears of joy at this point. Now that you're on the secret data instance, cat the file secret data text and enter the secret phrase below. In this XRL, let's go ahead and enter this. I'm so glad I finished it. Okay, I'll continue my AWS series, guys. I was almost at my breaking point, but I will continue it. But I am going camping this weekend, so just because I don't stream the next couple of nights does not mean I rage quit. I'll be back Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and the rest because I don't have a life. In this exercise, we leverage user data as both a way to do reconnaissance and get a shell on a machine. We also use a misconfiguration of the IMDS to get account creds via SSRF, which is like kudos to the TryHackMe and the creator of this room. The attack path was really unique, I think. Like it combined some unique ways of attacking the environment. I actually want to go back to the mission brief and refresh on what we all did. If you want to experiment, go to AWS Console and upgrade application instance to IMDS v2 and see how it fails. I don't want to experiment anymore. And the next room, we're going to learn about VPCs and come up with another way to get access to an isolated machine, manipulating the routing tables of the cloud network and firewall rules implemented via AWS security groups. We've completed the room. I'm sharing it with you guys. You are my only friends. You saw it here live. This has to be a record for the number of times I attempted to rage quit. I don't know if Throwback beat this or not. Throwback actually caused me to rage quit. I stopped streaming Throwback. I refused to do it. Nate finished it, but I refused to do it. So maybe that has the record, but that was close. So here's what we did. Let's see if we can walk through this together. Make this big and zoom in here. So this is us. This is our attacker. I don't know why he's not wearing a black hoodie, but okay. We executed SSRF. Remember, that was server-side request forgery through the application load balancer. That was that SSRF site. And we went through that and we hit this instance A. And from the instance A, we were able to get credentials. With those credentials, we reset the user data config, which is like a script that runs every time the machine starts up, and we were able to get that reverse shell established as root. From that, from being root and from that reverse shell, we looked at the user data for the other machines, and we found that the clear text SSH password was being stored in the user data file. And once we had access to this, we're of course in the private subnet. So even though we couldn't go from our user and access instance B, the secret data or whatever, we had root access to here, and we were able to SSH into instance B, and then we found the final flag. So definitely a cool attack path. I'm guessing 99% of my frustration was me missing a step, me misreading instructions, and I'll say 1% of it is just because very few people have done this room. Okay, so even if we look at the scoreboard, I am 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th. This guy doesn't count because he's the creator of the room. So 1, 2, I don't know why his is blocked out. 3, 4. I'm the 5th person in all of TryHackMe history who has done this room. So I'm sure as more people finish it, like this guy or girl must have rage quit, right? They got to task 3 and like, I'm freaking done. And they didn't do the rest of the tasks. But we did them all. We didn't rage quit. These people looked at it and just decided, I'm done. I'm not even going to attempt it. Actually, I think these might be TryHackMe staff. So some of these people, like, he doesn't count. He's staff. Cali Max counts. So really only a few people have been able to do that. Nate said we need to add an almost rage quit counter to the screen. Dude, it would be at 1337 number by now. But all right, guys, it's getting late. I got to work in the AM. So does Nate. I'm sure the rest of y'all do as well. So really do, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me, to listen to me yell at my computer, and to learn a little bit of AWS with us. For those of you who might be new to cybersecurity or new to pen testing in general, please don't let this room dissuade you or make you think it's too hard for you. AWS is just confusing. Their syntax is confusing. The way they set things up is confusing. If you're into cybersecurity, go to TryHackMe. Let me just show you guys because I know we have a few people on here. Actually, I'm gonna stop the recording. So for those of you on YouTube, you just want this video. So for on YouTube, I will talk to you guys later. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Watch the next one to continue the series.